So I've spent a lot of time engaging people with the deeper, more meaningful questions about life, but at least on camera, I haven't answered those questions myself. These are my answers.
How I'm really doing?
Big picture, overall, I'm very content with life. I have no complaints. But I would say that in the short term, I am currently restless. I am trying to figure out next steps.
I think my life's purpose is
to love God and to recognize His goodness, and also to love people unconditionally, to show others that they are worthy, they are beautiful, and that they are seen.
I want to be remembered.
To be honest, I don't really care about being remembered. I don't really care about people knowing like my name or even this channel when I leave Earth. I would much rather have people remember like that God is good and God is for them more than they realize, and for people to also recognize like the beauty within themselves and to see that their life is beautiful.
Who do I live for? Well,
ideally, I would like to say that I live for God. That is a goal that I strive for like every step in my life to be ultimately for God. But I also recognize that I am inherently a very self-centered person. So there are multiple steps I take every single day, goals that I strive for every single day that are for myself.
I would say what makes me feel alive is
when I know that I have resources to help someone else and I can like step in and meet a need, to have another person see that they are not alone and there are other people in this world who are looking out for them. That makes me feel alive.
Something beautiful that's happened in my life recently is
to call a friend across the country or even across the world and to talk on the phone for 30 minutes, an hour. Like that is something that's very beautiful.
A dream that I have for my life, I guess, is to just,
to make documentaries. Specifically, I have this dream to make a documentary about the survivors of genocide, because I believe that those survivors represent the strength, the true human strength, the human resilience.
my dream for the world would be
For children who are forced into slavery, for them to go free, and for us to be able to provide resources for them and their families to bounce back and to live a healthy, beautiful life.
well, my source of strength is
God. And I believe that He is a source of strength for everybody, whether we want to recognize it or not. And it's really a matter of choosing to tap into or be connected to that source on a daily basis.
a meaningful song to me is
The lyrics to the song just remind me that, through everything, I should be content with what God has given me in life. Like He is just the knowing of God is enough.
Well, a memory that makes me smile is
I was volunteering at this orphanage and boarding school in South America, and we would have this tradition to throw people in the creek in the back of our campus at the end of the year or on someone's birthday. And it was the last day of school, and I was making dinner in the kitchen, and I saw the director of the school with all the students and all the volunteers outside, and suddenly they all look in my direction, and everyone comes running at me, and they grab me and throw me in the creek. And it sounds kind of weird, but in that moment, like I felt loved.
I think what really matters is
Loving God and loving people, to recognize that God is for you more than you realize, and to also extend unconditional love to other humans, whether those humans are good to you or not.
well, that's a tricky question. I'm not sure.
First and foremost, I am a creation of God, a child of God, but also I am a culmination of the sacrifices and the hard work of my ancestors before me.
and I love that about myself.
I love how easygoing I can be in like difficult circumstances. I remember one of my friends, we were at the beach in like Florida one time, and his van broke down and we were stuck waiting for AAA. We were stuck for a few hours, and I remember he said to me, Jordan, out of all the people in my life, I'm glad that you're the person I'm stuck with.
I am most proud of.
Within the last 2-3 months, I've had a few childhood friends, high school friends, college friends get engaged or married, and the amount of joy, happiness, pride that I have for them and their partners is something that I had never really experienced internally before, and so I'm very proud of them and the next steps that they took in their life.
I believe my soul is
at peace.
I'd say the last time I cried was
Maybe like 9-10 months ago, I was very lonely, feeling very frustrated with life, and I was in my room by myself. And in the moment, I just told myself, if you cry, you'll feel better. And so I covered my mouth and it was so awkward to me, but I just cried, and at the end I felt better.
I fear smaller, less important things, like mountain lions and being embarrassed.
Like this gentleman, I fear the petty things in life. Like my throat will get dry and my heart rate will elevate if I'm anticipating getting on a roller coaster that has a big drop. But I don't fear death. I no longer even fear failure.
I have chosen to forgive.
I've never been the type of person to hold grudges. I asked this question because I realized that there is freedom in forgiveness. There's like internal freedom and then also like this social freedom in our relationships when we forgive others.
Something in life that I have overcome is just
Kind of this like unspoken pressure from other people and like other people's expectations of me. But in my adulthood, I've learned to let that go and not care about it.
A moment that changed my life for the better was when
The first time I sat down and had a conversation with a homeless gentleman, that changed my life and that changed my perspective on homeless people.
The most thing I look for in a partner is
someone who loves to travel, is very flexible in their travel, and someone who wouldn't mind living outside of the U.S.
What is life advice that you still hold on to?
When I actually go out and film and people say, keep doing what you're doing, don't stop. And I know maybe that's more encouragement than advice, but it's more meaningful than I think you all realize. So I hold on to it.
Even though it sounds cliche, I'm passionate about making people happy.
I think there's like this fire that ignites in my soul when I'm able to help other people in need.
One book that's impacting my life right now is
the Bible. And I don't just say that in like this generic sense of like, oh, I'm a Christian, so I have to say the Bible. But really, I think there are a lot of teachings within the Bible that are so like antithetical to like the human nature. For example, there are teachings that say like, don't just love your neighbor, but love your enemy. Do good to the people who even hurt you. Jesus teaches to not just feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give water to the thirsty, but also if a Roman soldier asks you to carry his pack for 1 mile, carry it 10 miles. If anyone asks of you, give to them. And then in the Bible, we learn teachings of what true religion means. It's not attending church or mass or the temple once a week. It's not being a quote-unquote good person, but true religion is taking care of orphans and widows in their distress and not letting the world corrupt you. So it's teachings like that I've read from the Bible that have given me a whole new perspective on life.
What I long for out of life, honestly, is just
community. Yeah.
Okay, so one way I've grown this year definitely is
through doing a lot of these video projects. I have learned to be a little more open in talking to people and talking to strangers and to listening to people's stories.
I belong
in the company of people who love me. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Jordan, usually the guy behind the camera, but I love doing videos about the beauty of life, the significance of our relationships in life. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and I'll see you soon. Take care.